So let's get back into this. We are going to continue and finish off in the Central. And guys, if you're not paying attention to this series, you might want to tune in for this one. Central 2, Dallas Stars 47, 21, and 14 for 108 points. Again, I don't always put this in the notes, but I made sure to throw this in there. Plus 67 goal differential is the best in the West against the Central 3 seed Minnesota Wild. 46, 25, and 11 for 103 points. If the Avalanche did not win their final game in Game 82 to take the Central, then the Dallas Stars would have been playing the Seattle Kraken, in which they went 3-0 against on that side. So it's instead the Minnesota Wild, and this is going to be a great series. So head coach Peter DeBoer versus Dean Evason, an all-around Dallas Stars team versus a lockdown Minnesota squad, and an adaptable Swiss Army knife versus a very physical team in the Minnesota Wild. So stats in the centerpieces, again, some of these are not household names, but if you're a hockey fan, I think this is one of those ones you got to be glued into, just like the New Jersey Devils and the New York Rangers that we talked about yesterday. Stars and Wild, that's really good. You should pay attention to it. Jason Robertson, all 82 games played. He is a Dallas Stars legend at this point. He's going to be breaking all sorts of records here for Robo. 46 goals, 63 assists, 109 points, plus 37 as that first line keeps on ticking. But not to be outdone, this might be the most surprising thing of the year. And full credit, full marks to the Dallas Stars captain, Jamie Benn. 82 games played, 33 goals, 45 assists, 78 points, and a plus 23. Look, I wouldn't be recluse to even tell you that Jamie Benn was done, but I thought that seasons like this were of the latter portion. You're going back 5 years if you want to talk about Jamie Benn's production and the stuff that you see now. All credit to him as far as taking care of himself, trying to transgress to that next part of his game, be able to stay ageless. And look, this might also be alongside the ageless one in Joe Pavelski when you think about 82 games played, 28 goals, 49 assists, 77 points, and a plus 42. What better man to get pointers from Benn if you got Joe Pavelski on that same tide, because he's still getting it done. Roope Hintz, he's turning into the two-way forward that Dallas knew he was going to be. 73 games played, 37 goals, 38 assists, 75 points for a plus 31. Tyler Seguin, former Boston Bruin that won a Stanley Cup from a long time ago now. 76 games played, 21 goals, 29 assists, 50 points, plus 3. And I threw in the youngster there for an extra, Wyatt Johnston, the 20-year-old. He's had a great year for a rookie. 82 games played, 24 goals, 17 assists, 41 points, and a plus 6. And again, he beat out Logan Stankoven on the Team Canada side because Wyatt Johnston took the bull by the horns, and he was able to stay with the Stars all year. So, superstar matchup on the other end, Kirill Kaprizov. Kirill the Thrill missed some time due to injury, 67 games, played 40 goals, 35 assists, 75 points. He will be breaking all Minnesota Wild records. He's been the best player they've ever had. Matt Zuccarello, as we said last year, again, a little bit of a career resurgence here, I should say. 78 games played, 22 goals, 45 assists, 67 points, and a minus 3. Matt Boldy, he got locked into the 7x7 for 49 from Bill Guerin, the GM. 81 games, played 31 goals, 32 assists, 63 points, plus 1. He really got hot toward the back half of the season. Joel Eriksson, again, we'll have more news on him in a moment. 78 games played, 23 goals, 38 assists, 61 points, plus 4. And Freddie Gaudreau, because why not? 82 games played, 19 goals, 19 assists, 38 points, and a plus 10. So look, when you're looking at the stats on centerpieces, and when you have Robo and Joe Pavelski and Jamie Benn and Roope Hintz, all those numbers are a lot higher than anything else that's throwing out in the Wild. And you think, how do you think this series is going to go so long? Well, we'll have to dive into that. I don't think the numbers speak to everything that Minnesota's been able to do. And I'll digress and just leave this here for now. So, premium defense, Miro Heiskanen, 79 games played, 11 goals, 62 assists, 73 points, and a plus 12. If you're thinking about a Norris Trophy candidate, Miro Heiskanen's got to be one of those guys for Dallas. He does everything. He can skate well, he can play make, he can score goals. He's just one of the best. And when you think about it in the 2019 side of the draft, for Jim Nill, the former Red Wings assistant general manager, to be able to get Jason Robertson, Jake Oettinger, and Heiskanen all in the same draft, that is how you put your team into superstar potential. Lindell, 24 points, plus 29. Colin Miller, 21 points, plus 23. And then on Minnesota's end, Jared Spurgeon, the captain, 79 games played, 11 goals, 23 assists, 34 points for a plus 32. And I threw Jacob Middleton in there, 15 points, but a plus 15 on the year. So this defense on the other side for the Stars, I think you have a lot of wheeling and dealing there. And that's going to lead with Heiskanen, no doubt. But when you have guys like Lindell and Miller, again, Miller, he plays on the first line sometimes with Heiskanen for a plus 23. They're able to get the job done. So you have a little bit of offense, a little bit of defense, and everything else mixed in. And you have maybe your top to bottom 6 defense, and probably more toward your bottom. That would be more lockdown defense for Dallas. But still, they can all play make and get the job done versus a Minnesota team that just doesn't give up a whole hell of a lot. And that's what makes it a very intriguing matchup. They love to play physical. And this is quite possibly the best reason to tune into this series, the goaltending. So for the Dallas Stars, we know about Otter, Jake Oettinger, 82 or 62 games played. 82 would be absolutely insane. That'd be like more toward Marty Brodeur, but still 62 games played for Otter here. 37, 11, and 11 for 237, 919, and 5 shutouts. Scott Wedgwood, no slouch for the back end goaltending. That was another good pickup for Dallas in the offseason. 21 games played, 9-8-3, 272, 915 save percentage. Minnesota Wild, they have their future goaltender on their hands, and they just continue to pull out goaltending prospects. Well, Filip Gustavsson, no slouch, 22, 9, and 7 for a 210 save percentage. Again, that is a full 27 points higher than Jake Oettinger, a 931 save percentage with 3 shutouts. So 210 goals against 931 and 3 shutouts versus 237 and 919 with 5. So Filip Gustafsson's the real deal. And we got to throw the flower in there because he played 46 games on that end. 24, 16, and 4, a 285 with a 908 save percentage and 2 shutouts. So goaltending is going to be as good as it gets in this series. Again, maybe not household names in the sense of Filip Gustavsson, but you already know about that, or Jake Oettinger. Even with his 3rd year, you should on that, and he's been one of the very best since he stepped foot into the crease in the NHL. So here is an injury designation that could be very interesting on that end. So for Dallas, Joel Eriksson-Ek, he is a second-line centerman that can play a really good 200-foot game. I don't know if he's going to be out for the whole series, a little bit more of a precautionary before the end of the regular season, but we will have to keep our eyes on that because that will test the depth of the Wild, and that is one of their better two-way centermen, and they will miss his services. For the power play side, this is what also tells you that Dallas is a very well-rounded team. They're at 25% with the extra man, which is 5th. The Minnesota Wild at 15th at 21.4. They like to wheel and deal to Kirill Kaprizov, and he gets that job done. Dallas Stars penalty kill, fantastic, 83.5%, which is 3rd. The Minnesota Wild, top 10 at 82%. Goals for the Stars. They can also get it done on this end, 3.43. Minnesota Wild, not so much. Out of 32 teams, they are 23rd for a 2.91. Goals against for the Dallas Stars, very good, no doubt, because of Jake Oettinger, 2.62, and the Minnesota Wild just a fraction behind at 2.67, which is 6th. So here's my thoughts, and here's why some of the numbers might give me a differing opinion as far as what you think I'm going to take. So for Dallas, which team are we going to see? Look, I know this is a different personnel. This is no longer Rick Bowness, and we'll talk about the Winnipeg Jets in the next series going forward. This is Peter DeBoer, the former Vegas Golden Knight. He's been around these parts in the NHL for a long time. He was brought in to Dallas just to make sure to circumvent their offense and put it into turbo mode. And no doubt when you have guys like Joe Pavelski, Jason Robertson, Roope, Hintz, some of the other players taking the same steps, and Jimmy Benn getting a whole hell of a lot better as far as making the resurgence, this makes you think that this is a Dallas team that's going to blow the doors off in the Minnesota Wild. But here is the concern that I have in this series. If we see Dallas try to shell, and again, I know it's not the same personnel with Rick Bowness, but if they try to shell like they did against the Calgary Flames in Game 7, look, I know they didn't have the services of Tkachuk and Gaudreau on that end, but it was Johnny Gaudreau with the heroics off of the crazy angled backhand that put them into the Battle of Alberta. But what did Dallas try to do throughout that entire series? Lock down and batten down the hatches at all costs. You knew they weren't going to be able to score. And if they put themselves into the same dogfight, same mindset against Minnesota, this could be a very ugly series. So are we going to see the dynamic do everything squad, or are we going to see the team that's going to try to shell? So for Minnesota, this is a very physical team that likes to close off and punish teams with the body, punch them in the face, play very physical, play very borderline on the edge. Problem with Minnesota, as we've talked about over the last couple months, is can they score? When you think about Minnesota, even going up into January and February, they were toward 3 spots away from being wildcard spot number 2. They were way out of the playoffs before they finished in a top 3 seed in the Central. And you know what that little run did? It wasn't just the goaltending and the defense. They were able to get some timely goal scoring and also maybe get pot 5 or 6 in a given game. And that got them on the front foot. The goaltending matchup and across this whole series is going to be amazing. So whether or not both teams actually find their offense, you're going to have to deal with Filip Gustavsson, Marc-Andre Fleury, and Jake Oettinger on both ends. So even if you start wheeling and dealing on that side and making plays, these goaltenders can shut you right down. So the goaltending matchup could still take a game that probably should be 4-3 and make it a 2-1 style game because it just is that good. This should be a great and deep series, but who wins the series and give reasons for both? This is a very, very tough series to call despite all of the numbers that I threw out in front of you saying that Dallas should be a heavy favorite because no matter who Dallas plays or anyone, when they play Minnesota, anyone that plays the Wild play the Wild's game. They end up getting stuck in a neutral zone trap. They get punched in the face. They get stuck in heavy body checks. Dean Evason's squad is going to lock you down, throw you in the jail cell, and throw away the lock and key. That is the way that they play against everybody, and there's no way you can get out of it. It's like a black hole. You can't escape it. That's the reason why Minnesota is going to have more than a chance in this series. Dallas is going to do everything they can to throw the wrench at Filip Gustavsson and Marc-Andre Fleury and score as many goals as they can. But is Minnesota going to allow them to actually get in the zone and be able to run that game plan? Time will tell. And the best part about this is we're going to know as soon as Monday when we're at American Airlines because Alec Nava is going to join me for Game 1. That's going to be my first coverage that we will talk about. So we'll see exactly tomorrow on that side about 9:30 Eastern of what's going to happen on ESPN2. I still wonder what Dallas team will see, but Minnesota has been able to play their game despite whatever match that they have. But if Dallas, with their overwhelming favorite, if they can still be reliable on the power play and the kill, they get the goaltending from Jake Oettinger and all that, I don't see any way that they don't win this in 6 because they're the better team. But if Minnesota gets involved in that physical matchup and Dallas can't get out of it, Minnesota can be one of those situations that they can take that claw and wear down Dallas, and they can win this in 7. So in this coin flip, I'm going to take the latter. I'm going to go with the Dallas Stars in 7 games. They will win this series, but this is going to be nasty, and this is going to leave with a lot of cold ice tubs, battered bruises, cuts, repairs. This is going to be a nasty series. And I understand on the back end of it, it's not the same household names that some of these other teams can provide. But if you miss this one, you're going to be doing yourself a disservice. So I will take the Dallas Stars with confidence. But I will say this is going to be a long series, and I'll take them in 7. Alec and Nava and I will have the coverage here for you. It's going to be tomorrow, Monday, April 17th at 9:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Please don't miss this one at all.